Yeah, we've been talking a lot about people up to this point with your experience over at Canes, Raising Canes. What about operations and business and things of that nature? They were opening a ton of restaurants. Maybe they taught you a thing or two about how to scale. Get into some of the business things that they taught you beyond culture.
System. So the system is very focused, right? And so I saw some opportunities in that when I adapted kind of my own restaurant because we are focused, but we kind of have a wider lens in terms of like who we cater
You said the
towards.
systems focus. What do you mean by the system?
It's a focused menu, right? So like it all goes in one direction, right? Like it produces one thing, and that's chicken finger meals. That's it, right? And so like very simple, easy overall operations, which is an amazing business system because you cater towards the lowest common denominator, right? You're only as strong as your weakest link. Like all of that stuff, right? That's how you build a restaurant system that works, especially if you're going to scale, right? And so I learned that. I learned that I needed systems, processes, and procedures that were lowest common denominator. I don't have anything that's too complicated. I don't have anything that's too chef-driven, right?
Yeah.
It's something that I can teach a 16-year-old in about an hour.
It's easier to teach one person to do one thing really well than it is to teach one person to do a bunch of things really well.
Right.
You're channeling the energy. You're putting all the focus into this one thing and mastering this one thing. And if you can be number one at something, you're like the difference between being number one and number two is like half,
right?
Or like double. Like it's a huge difference. So channel all of that energy into being the best at something.
Yeah.
And then build systems around being the best at that one thing is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and it's very station based. You know what I mean? Like you learn one thing at a time. Like here, you need to learn cheese, right? And then now that you know cheese, like you need to learn grill.
So you're breaking all the components of the process into a station.
Yes.
And you get them to master that one thing at a time.
Right.
Why is that so powerful? Well, why is that the best approach?
Well, it's wading into the water, right? Like we would never put somebody on build. You have to know the entire menu. You have to know all the product specs. You need to know all like what quality looks like to us, right? Like you need to know how to plate, right? Present and portion, right? But on cheese, you need to know how to put a tortilla down, put cheese on it, and communicate. Like, let's teach you that first, right? And so, like, you wade them into the water, man, and then you build this beast who's a build beast ninja, you know what I mean? Like, but they don't make it there and for 6 days at least, to get onto that position.
Yeah.
And so, like, wading them into the water and like ramping them up. Same thing like with front of house. Like you don't take orders on day one, you work expo so you can learn what the orders should look like, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what I mean by like station based, but it kind of builds up into the more complicated stations.
What else?
Man, like I think that we flow cook quesadillas. That's like our proven process, right? And so like when you look into business, you're like, man, like what's the proven process that makes them run? You know what I mean? And like our proven process is we flow cook quesadillas. We only have one size, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so like we know that we can properly execute a long line of people in a very reasonable amount of time, right? And so like that's another lesson that I learned there is like you better be able to flow cook like to be able to knock down a line if you want to serve masses of people.
Yeah, so
right?
again, like using the chicken finger as an example, they do chicken fingers really well, and they might have like, I don't know, 10 different meals. Like what I don't know the Raising Cane menu.
4 meals.
4 meals.
Yeah.
So all those meals have chicken fingers in them, so you can batch cook a basket full of chicken fingers, and you're gonna crush 10 orders in that one fry.
Correct.
So same concept with
Same
quesadillas.
concept. Yep.
So